Let's listen.
Magaluf for a weekend and do something very similar. And then they come back to England and get with some fucking guy and start asking for presents from him and talking about how they deserve a traditional relationship and they want to get married and they want a Christmas present and all this bullshit. Most women do exactly what Bonnie does. I don't see you any different than most women. And I'm not saying that in a degrading way.
Most women don't sleep with 1,057 men in a day.
1,000? Does it fucking matter?
I think it does.
I don't really think it does. So it's all disgusting to me. If I met a woman... And
this is why you just got to assume all women are hoes. All of them. Me, her. It doesn't do you any favors to give women the benefit of the doubt, you know? So he's right about that.
He said, I just sucked a dick yesterday. I'd say, well, I find you repulsive. I don't want to sleep with you. Goodbye.
What, so you're only going after virgins?
Well, it's not about only going after virgins, but I think if you're a straight man, the idea of having a bunch of men fuck a woman that you're with is pretty repulsive.
But everyone has a past.
But see, this is the kind of shit white people say. I don't know what's wrong with you people. Everyone has a past. That's not acceptable. In fact, let's analyze that. Everyone has a past. You're right. Everyone does have a past. It's true. But isn't the primary objective of a man to find a woman with as little past as possible? Would you argue that's one of the precursors to finding a wife? Considering that wives were supposed to be virgins. This was the deal. The reason I'm proud of Bonnie, and I am genuinely proud of you, I like Bonnie. I like what she's doing. Because the deal was...
Are you not, like, contradicting yourself?
In what way?
Well, you're proud of her sleeping with 1,057 guys, but women should be virgins.
No, I'm saying that the social contract, the construct of society that made family function was women were obedient virgins and they found a man who provided for them and they listened to that man. Women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
Yeah,
I'm not here to tell you not to do it.
I take women back 100 years. I'm like, no, I'm the clear example of how to be empowered. I use my body. I do what I want, when I want. And this is the thing.
So I got to say, there's a part of me that respects Bonnie Bloom. I know. The men are like, you're insane. What do you mean you respect? But what I like about and almost admire about Bonnie Bloom is she lives life on her own terms. She takes accountability for the choices that she makes and the consequences that come with it. And she doesn't feel the need to defend herself to anybody. She doesn't feel the need to tell anybody that she's right or defend herself. She just says, yeah, call me whatever you want. I'm living life on my own terms.
Been banging on about for years. And when I get hate, like when I click on the comments of these women that are like, oh, you're taking us back 100 years, then in their bio it says stay-at-home mom of 2. I'm thinking, what the fuck was you rooting for? Because you have just stayed at home.
That's right, Bonnie. See, this is the future.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is fantastic. It's exactly what Western society is headed to. So why are we going to sit here and pretend this is not? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that most women who go on girls' holidays aren't doing something similar to what Bonnie does just because it's not on camera? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that these men who walk around with their wives in the pub in England, and they're like, oh, my wife, yeah, everyone has a past. Oh, no, she's done the same shit. What's the difference? Who gives a fuck? Right? We're either going to care and accept that women are judged on their past and judged on their innocence and judged on their naivety and judged on these things like it used to be, or we're going to sit and say it doesn't matter, everyone has a past. Well, if everyone has a past, everyone has a past. Who gives a fuck? Does it really matter?
So
anymore?
What would you do if it was your daughter, though?
But why are you asking an impossible question?
Well, it's not an impossible question.
Of course it is.
How?
It can't happen.
There is an idea that men can control the outcomes of their children and their daughters. And I'm sorry, fellas, but you have no control. Even Andrew Tate, as much as he likes to think he has controls, has no control over that outcome. None. Zero.
But anything can happen.
It's against the laws of physics.
It's not.
I mean, if your daughter opened her legs and took 1,000 dicks, it's not impossible.
Of course it is.
What? I mean, the dicks would enter her pussy, therefore she's taken.
It's literally impossible for my daughter.
What, are you going to be there again?
Yeah, all the guys that have big egos think it could never happen to their daughters. It, in fact, happens to their daughters. I hope it doesn't, but yeah, you can't control it.
Your daughter's pussy saying that dick's not entering it.
No, my daughter just wouldn't make that decision.
But why?
Because I still raise her in a household where she is masculinely guided. and she will be guided by me until I hand her over to some other man. However, I believe when women are left to their own devices, they will only ever make stupid decisions.
Was mine a stupid decision?
I wouldn't say it's any more stupid than most decisions women make, to be honest with you. I think that most women, to some degree, are sex workers anyway. Like,
I mean, yeah.
let's be honest about it, right? Most women look at Miami or Dubai. What's your job? Oh, I've got a boyfriend. So your job is being a girlfriend. And why does he give you money? Because you give him sex. So most women are sex workers anyway, to be honest.
But isn't that what you said the family unit was?
Well, then you're a sex worker with one customer. You know, which is nice. I guess it's better. It's more efficient.
But what about if you're raising children? That's not sex work, is it?
No, that's being a mother.
Yeah.
All right, so that's interesting, Rob. Rob said this, not me. So they're either virgins, sex workers, or mothers. Are those the three categories?
I think you're putting words into my mouth.
I think that's what Rob just said. Those are the three categories.
I'm just sat in the middle.
And women have to choose to be one of them.
So is that what you think?
I think that when a woman becomes a mother, she has a purpose. And I think that women should be having children.
I don't. Women don't care about these kids. They don't.
As soon as possible. And I think it gives their life a direction. And I think it's the most important thing to preserve society, especially if you want to talk about geopolitics and talk about race and all of these things. If you want to have a country that looks like the country it used to be, you need to have the original people from there.
Yep, that's done. Cooked, dead.
Children. I think all of that is true. Absolutely. I think every day a woman goes without having kids is primarily a waste of time. But once again, what does it matter what I think? Rob, I've given up. Rob, I've given up trying to save the world. I've given up. No, Rob.
No, you haven't.
I've given up on misogyny and all this shit.
No, you haven't.
They attacked me with the Matrix. They keep throwing me in jail. I am now all for women empowerment. I think women should run around fucking as many men as they want. I like what Bonnie's doing. She's getting the bag. She's getting rich. Most girls out here don't want to have kids. They just want to get Birkin bags and Instagram.
That's true. And if you give a woman a kid that doesn't want kids or isn't meant to be a mother, these women destroy the children. They really do.
Likes. Good.
I am black, Phil. I am. I'm glad it happened to me now rather than spending 10 years fighting. I've given up. You win. You win.
Good. I'm a feminist, a pro-feminism. This is the world now.
See, Bonnie Blue is more likable than half of the women than TradCon women. She's more likable than Lila Rose. Think about it. She acts in a more feminine way than Lila Rose. Now, to be fair, she is paid to learn how to please men in that way. However, like when you see Lila Rose on a podcast with these guys, she's naggy. She does that voice that voice like this, where I'm doing something that's really annoying and bitchy and I pretend that I don't. That's what she does, right? Bonnie doesn't do that. Her demeanor is more feminine than half of the TradCon women.
How the world's going to end up, who gives a fuck? Who cares about the future?
See, women go around, use sex to their advantage, but then are happy to cry about it straight away. Saying, oh, he took advantage of me. And it's like, you're the one that wanted to do sex to have like the job promotion, or you're the one that wanted to have sex to get more attention or try and be more liked. But then they cry about it. And that's what I get frustrated about. And even with porn stars, like people in my industry, they'll do this for a few years, get the...
She's serving this look. I'm sorry. That dress is so cute. I kind of want that dress. Oh, that's so cute.
Money, get the boob jobs, get the house. And then suddenly they go, oh my God, I was forced into the industry. Oh my God, someone took all my money.
Have you ever considered a job as a lawyer?
No.
I could do with you. You're 100% right. So this is the false dichotomy of society, right? So this is the reason when I said I like what Bonnie does, because Bonnie completely 100% owns what she does. And she says, it's my decision. And I've seen people try and lecture you. I've seen people sit there and try and lecture you and say like, oh, but you're a creature of God and you shouldn't be doing this. No, you should do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
It's up to you to do whatever you want. And you're not saying anybody tricked you into it. It's your decision. And let's be honest, when they talk about taking women back 100 years, let's actually be very honest here, Rob. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
There's always been whores.
It's the oldest profession.
Ancient Rome had whores. There's always been whores. The Aztecs had whores. You think there weren't concubines in the fucking Ming dynasty sucking little Chinese pee-pee? Of course there were. There's always been whores. It's the oldest profession in the world.
Exactly.
So do you think it's a legitimate job?
Well, I mean, no, check her bank. I'm sure she's making fucking loads of money. So here's where do you draw the line? If we're going to live in this false dichotomy, Because the world was very simple once, not too long ago. And men had this terrible misogynistic view, which I, of course, don't agree with, that women can't make their own decisions because they're naturally chaotic. And when women decide anything, life's fucked up.
All right, so this is my opinion on it. As much as we hate it, I do believe that people have a right to their hell. There are people that live in hell because of drugs, addiction, and just poor life decisions, women especially. I don't believe in taking away the right to make bad decisions as long as it's not illegal and hurting anybody else. However, the challenge is we're in a modern society that does not give women the consequences for those bad decisions. So it would be one thing if we got the decision and the consequence, but because the consequences are taken away, that's where the issue is. If Bonnie Blue wants to make a bunch of money on OnlyFans, whatever, but it's when you simps let her come to your church after, she won't be there. But yeah, okay.
In fact, these men in their disgusting, these men in their disgusting misogyny believed if you gave women the vote, we'd end up with open borders and drag queen story hour. So they didn't give women the vote. Then they did give women the vote, and society took a particular direction. But when men were in charge of things, women didn't have to worry about what they can do with their life because their father took care of it, and then their husband took care of it. But now we live in a brand new world where women can make all of their own decisions. And the path she's chosen, I don't think is any different than most paths women take. I think she's just more honest about it and more upfront about it. If you're going to go to Dubai and meet a girlfriend, and you think she hasn't been fucking for money the entire time she was living in Dubai, then you're an idiot. If you're in Miami and you got girls on your boat and you think they're not fucking for money all of the time, now they may not say per hour, but they'll be fucking a guy they barely like to get the rent paid, or they're fucking a guy they barely like because he has a car.
Yeah.
So women are fucking for money all the time.
So I had to do a thought. Well, I didn't have to. I chose to do a thought experiment once. And I thought to myself, I used to think of myself on some moral high ground because I don't do this kind of stuff. I didn't do this kind of stuff. Like I've never been on a yacht in Dubai. I've never done a lot of this stuff. And I used to really think of myself, I guess you could say on like a moral high ground of some sort. And then one day I thought to myself, I was like, do you know what? I've never been invited to one of those things. It's really easy to say that you're different or special and have your like ego build up when you've never been invited. And then I thought even further about it. And I thought, when you look at in history, if I had to choose historically, if I was in a position, which a lot of women were in the past, where the choice was either death or have sex, do whatever they want in the tribe. Do your morals really kick in? Does that make sense, guys? And I thought about it. And I'm like, all women in the right circumstances would do some pretty depraved things if their life depended. Now, to be fair, Bonnie Blue just does this for money or the love of it. I don't really know. But that's why I kind of stay away from the morality aspect, because everybody says what they would like to think they would do in those circumstances, but nobody knows what they would do until they were actually in them. Okay, Bonnie Blue, that I would not do. But yeah, anyways, I don't know if I'm making sense, but essentially, it's really easy to say you wouldn't do something. It's really easy to say I wouldn't do what Bonnie Blue does when I don't think I would make the money she makes doing that. I don't know if that makes sense. And I have other options where I don't have to do that. But in the right situation, it's kind of like how many pro-lifers have had an abortion in the past? How many guys, and a lot of the influencers that say they don't cheat, a lot of them cheat on their wives or whatever in the right circumstances. nobody knows what they're going to do until their back is up against a wall.
Anyway, that's all women do now. The entire Western world is women fucking for money. So how hypocritical would it be for me to sit here and say, Bonnie, who's honest, who monetizes it directly with her own media empire, who's upfront about it and makes money from it, is a worse person than the girl who walks around like she's goody two-shoes and then sucks dick in a Magaluf toilet. Because that's what most girls are doing.
What is Magaluf?
Anyway, Rob, the world's fucked. They're all like this. Rob, they're all the same.
Are you trying to say I'm not special now?
No, I'm saying you're special, actually, because you've gone so far through. You've come out as the queen of it. Congratulations.
But didn't you say this kind of thing is the demise of Western society?
I mean, if I was a misogynist, I would believe this is the final end result of feminism, and the end times are here, and that nobody's going to have kids anymore, and that the idea of a beautiful marriage between a man and a woman is now completely gone. I mean, if I was a disgusting misogynist, but since they keep...
But you don't have one beautiful marriage, do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Have you slept with 1,057 women?
At least.
So are you quite similar?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's the male's prerogative to impregnate as many females as possible. This is the masculine prerogative. This is biologically my prerogative is to do that.
I think we should do a breeding competition. We'll see if you can get a girl pregnant quicker than I can get pregnant.
Well, I mean, that'd be a good competition. I think I'd win. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one, but it's interesting because it's interesting because you have to look at society. When you look at these things, you have to look at society from an animalistic perspective and a societal perspective. From the animalistic perspective, it is the masculine imperative to get as many women as possible pregnant.
Yeah, but
if you want to be purely
it's
animalistic,
not 1,512.
No, but let's be purely animalistic. Let's talk about this like professionals. If a man is high value, high testosterone, alpha male, whatever you want to call it, right? His imperative is to impregnate women. And he wants to take care of those women and take care of those kids. He's not overly interested in the kids. It doesn't mean he doesn't love them. It means he doesn't want to sit there and play with them all day. When you see a man who wants to play with a baby all day, that man is probably gay. It's fucking boring.
Well, it doesn't mean he wants to fuck the kid.
No, he's gay. He's gay. So real men just want to pregnant, money, cool. See you an hour a week. Boom, boom, boom. Now, there's a lot of men who are going to disagree with me on that, but those are a lot of men I can beat the shit out of, so I don't give a fuck. That's the truth of it. The female imperative is to find a man who's obsessed with her so that when she gets pregnant, she's going to have protection and provision when she's not capable of looking after herself. That is the female biological imperative and the masculine biological imperative. I'm still living to my biological imperative to some degree. If I were to, let's say, have 4 or 5 women and I had kids with 4 or 5 women and I took care of 4 or 5 women and I was with all of them and they were exclusively only with me and we had children over and over and over again, that's my biological imperative. It's actually against the female biological imperative to do what Bonnie is doing, I would argue, traditionally. But that means you break paradigms. That's great. But feminism and society and this brand new societal conditioning is convincing women that what they're supposed to do, which is find a man they love and be obsessed with him and get pregnant from him, is the wrong thing to do. Well, then let's all just become sex